Congratulations, Denis Villeneuve. You did it. What's going on, people? This is Joshua, Future Filmmaker 3.40 Reviews, where I talk movies, TV, and music, giving you guys my thoughts on Dune, or Dune Part 1, as the title card suggests. This is, of course, the newest interpretation of the Dune series. This is the first of a planned two-part adaptation or trilogy of the 1965 novel based on the book of the same name, written by Frank Herbert, and this covers the first half of the book. This is directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by him, John Spaffis, and Eric Roth, and it is following the 1984 movie, which is the second film adaptation of the novel, and this stars, of course, Timothee Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Steve McKinley Henderson, Zendaya, David Dastmalchian, Chang Chen, Sharon Duncan Brewster, Charlotte Rampling, Jason Momoa, and Harvey Bardem. We follow Paul Atreides, who is a brilliant and gifted young man born to a great destiny beyond his understanding, and he has to travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. As malevolent forces explode into conflicts over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence, only those who can conquer their own fear will survive. And into Dune, of course, I was actually really excited to see Dune. I am a fan of Denis Villeneuve and his previous work. His previous movies are really great. Prisoners is amazing. Enemy is fantastic. Sicario I like. His two French-made films I think are really phenomenal in their own rights. I also very much loved Arrival from 2016. Blade Runner 2049 is still my favorite of his. So going into this, knowing that this was his big passion project and his baby that he's been wanting to do ever since he was a teenager, also from the interviews and the behind the scenes stuff, I was very intrigued on how this would turn out. But I did go in with some low expectations, mainly because the Dune series is not that well known to be translated well from book to film, and also I've been doing the Road to Dune coverage, covering the original film and the miniseries, and covering the character posters and such. But my biggest fear going into this was that this was not going to live up to everything that it was made out to be. And I was, of course, very disappointed when this movie got pushed back, but I think with this movie getting pushed back definitely helped this movie in the long run. And going into, I like the cast, I like the trailers. Some of the cast I was a little bit nervous about, but for the most part I was very interested to see how this turned out. And I have to say, not only this was amazing, but this is the best Dune adaptation. Now, granted, some people are not going to like the ambition, some people are not going to like this because this is part one of the story, but I do think that this movie is going to be worthy of doing what it's set out to do. This movie is definitely going to start a new franchise. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to address this right now because I've been seeing this in so many reviews and stuff. We are talking about this movie and this property. So before you come in saying you're comparing this to Mandalorian or Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, My one rule of advice is not to make those comparisons in the comments because of two reasons. One, it's very annoying at this point. Two, it is heavily insulting to the original Star Wars trilogy and to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And three, just by making those comparisons, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. So we're going to treat this as its own thing, as it should be treated. And with that being said, let's get into my thoughts with Dune.
Alright!
Ready?
Ready!
I love you. Kicking it off right with the positives, easily the star of this movie is Denis Villeneuve. His heart is entirely in this project. He had a very impossible task. He had the task of taking this big, gigantic book from Frank Herbert that's already been done in the 1980s and had to make this work on screen. And I feel like if his heart was not in this as well as it was, I don't think the movie will work. His heart is in it. You can tell his heart is in it. His passion is in it. Everything that he feels gentle from is in it. Is all Denis Villeneuve, and he made this into not only a great film but also a visual sci-fi masterpiece. Touching on it from his direction, the way he's able to direct and he puts us into this world and sets up the world building and the characters and what is going to come ahead in the potential second movie. Everything is great. I think Villeneuve, he really understands this world. He really understands what he's doing here. He's going for something completely different. He's going for something that has never been done before. And I easily think that is the strongest aspect of him. This is all Denis Villeneuve. With the $165 million budget, this movie's already making $129 million as of right now. Easily, this is something that should be seen not only if you're choosing to see it on HBO Max, but also see this in theaters, because this is a very visually stunning movie. From the visual aesthetics to the production design, the costume design, and the makeup and the practicality and just the visual landscape of the world is pretty much exactly how you would think from this book. Yes, of course, he does take some ambition, and he does, of course, put his usual style on it, but I think it was for the better of it. And he does make some changes for story purposes. Even with the changes that he makes, I still felt like he was being as accurate as he can with this big, huge source material. You have gorgeous cinematography from, of course, Greg Fraser, who is a very well-renowned cinematographer. He's done a lot of cinematography work. He is great with cinematography here. The way he shoots a lot of scenes, the way he shoots a lot of action scenes and the visual aesthetic. He's done cinematography for Rogue One and Zero Dark 30, Lion and Vice, and he's also going to be doing cinematography for the Batman, and he did cinematography for Snow White and the Huntsman, which that was one of the best things in that movie. But his cinematography here is visually stunning, it's visually beautiful, it's breathtaking. He doesn't shake the camera, it's not quick cuts, quick editing. Everything is in focus. Even in the nighttime sequences, you can see what's going on, perfectly paced with the color palette. It is top notch. And if this movie does not get a nomination for, if anything, this movie should be nominated for Best Cinematography and Best Direction, I guess. Because Villeneuve, his passion is there. I wouldn't mind seeing this get up for those nominations. The amazing production design, costume design is very well done. It is definitely much on screen. Nothing about this looks cheap. Even the practical effects look really good. For the locations they shot in, the sand and the landscape and the effects and just the incredible landscape. Villeneuve puts you in this landscape, and for the 2 hours and 35 minutes. I'm never bored. I was into it. Even in the slower moments, which I think, even with the action scenes was great, but I think the movie really does feel truly epic in its quieter moments with its characters. Because without the characters and the quieter moments in this movie, you wouldn't be able to care as much as you do with what is going to lie ahead in the future installments. Top that off, you have great sound mixing here. The sound mixing is magnificent. It's very amazingly done. This sound mixing, even when you all watch this on HBO Max or go to a field, this sound mixing is amazing. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's visually creative, fantastically well done, and it is all around epictastically awesome. So the sound mixing in here is perfection. Kicking off, the musical score by Hans Zimmer is amazing, which is great score. This is some of his best music he's done. And he's worked with Villeneuve before with Blade Runner 2049. And Hans Zimmer, he is a fan of the source material. So he does a great job with the music in the film. Everything about this is fantastic. Hans Zimmer's score is incredible. It's very engaging, very exciting, very awesome, and you just are left in awe with this musical score. Obviously, I want to get into the performances here. Besides the direction and technical aspects, this movie definitely would not be as great as it is if it had not been for the performances of its cast that also helps elevate this material. Timothée Chalamet definitely is the most valuable player as Paul Atreides, as he has a lot to his character. He is destined for something greater, but he has his fears and concerns, and I very much like that when it comes to his character. It's well fleshed out. He goes through this amazing arc in this first movie, which is not fully explored yet, but hopefully with future movies we get to see more of that. And I think Timothée Chalamet is one of the best actors working today, and he is fantastic as the character of Paul Atreides. He has to show a lot of emotion and a lot of weight in this role, and he does it with amazing acting chops. There is one scene with him in particular which gets to our surprise factor in the movie where I was like, yes, he is awesome. This is why he is destined to have a franchise of his own. The rest of the cast of this movie is really great as well. Oscar Isaac, for his little screen time as Duke Leto Atreides, he does leave a lasting impression. I thought he was fantastic in his role as Duke Leto. He was really amazing. I thought he really did a good job. And he is the father of Paul and also the wife of Duke of Lady Jessica, which we'll get to. I thought he was really good. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. He's basically the bro character in the movie, but I thought he was great as the swords master, and he was one of Paul Atreides' mentors. I thought he was great. Very good in the supporting role. Very good. Also, Zendaya as Shani. She's not in it as much, because they are sending her more for future movies, but I thought for her screen time throughout the movie, she was great. You also have Stephen McKinley Henderson as Tully Hadwath, the mentor of House Atreides. I thought he was great. Shane Chen as Dr. Yu, the doctor. He was fantastic. Really surprised with Sharon Duncan Brewster as Lieutenant Leeds Kynes, the ecologist and judge of the chain of Arrakis. I thought she was great. Javier Bardem as Stilgar, very fantastic. David Dastmalchian coming off of Polka Dot Man, the Suicide Squad. He continues to do awesome here as the Mentat of House Harkonnen. Dave Bautista as Glossu Raban. He's the nephew of our villain. I thought he was amazing. Stellan Skarsgård is completely unrecognizable in this movie as Vladimir Harkonnen, the enemy of House Atreides and the steward of Arrakis. Holy shit, his makeup and his performance just screamed Epictastic. He was Epictastic. He was fantastic. great. I love his makeup. Very threatening for what we've gotten of him so far. So I want to see where he goes in the next movie. Josh Brolin is Gurney Halleck. Also, I was very much liking him. He was really good in the movie. So every one of the performances in this movie I think are very well done. They were really great in their roles, and I thought they did very good in this movie. Now let's get to the biggest surprise in the movie, the elephant in the room. Because that is, of course, Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, which, when she was announced as Lady Jessica, of course I was excited to see her. I love Rebecca Ferguson, she's a great actress. But when it comes to trailers, I was very mixed on this on her. Because I didn't know what to expect from her. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to take it, because she's usually the girl, the MI girl from Mission Impossible, and recently she did Reminiscence, which was very disappointing, but I thought she did the best she could in it. And going into this, I was like, okay, is she going to go for this part as Lady Jessica and bring something different? Or she's just going to bring the movie down and she could really just disappoint me. And I'm very happy to say that Rebecca Ferguson was not terrible. I was so freaking worried that she was going to bring this movie down. She's going to take the movie from our main actor. But she was actually really great. She plays an important part in the story. She plays an important part to Paul's journey, and just getting that scene with her and Timothee Chalamet in the middle of this movie, I thought was fantastic. So everyone in the acting department is great. The themes and the stories that they try to go with, I also thought were fantastic. It really succeeded on the themes and the story and what you expect out of this. How it's talking about politicalness and the sci-fi elements and the houses of Atreides, just the world. I became invested. I was fully invested. One thing that some people are gonna have problems with is the ambition and with this movie's runtime and just with the scope, because some people are just there. If you are a Villeneuve person, you know what to expect. But for most Denis Villeneuve fans, they are not going to pretty much enjoy what this movie is presenting them. They're not gonna like what this movie is doing. They're not gonna like the ambitiousness. They're not gonna like the scope. They're not gonna even like the way this movie ends. For me, it's just a little nitpick with the way this movie ends. I was okay with it. I didn't mind where this movie stopped. Now, granted, I feel like they should have shot both part 1 and part 2 back to back, because the end of this left me saying I want more from this universe. The runtime in this movie, 156 minutes, didn't feel anything. Didn't feel anything at all. I was engaged. I did get a little bored watching it, but it completely went away after the first 25 minutes because I was just so damn invested. That's what a good director does. That's what a good runtime should does. 2 hours and 56 minutes, I wanted more of this. And the way this movie decides to conclude itself, yes, it's a bit poor stop, but I was into it. I was very much loving it. I have no complaints with this movie. I have no negatives, except for the fact it's not fully satisfying 100%. But for this first part 1, I felt fully satisfied with them introducing the world. It's not fully satisfying, but it's a small grievance because there is going to be a part 2. I was very happy with Dune. At the end of the day, Dune is definitely the best sci-fi movie of 2021. This is a visual sci-fi masterpiece that works on all levels. The direction is amazing, the visual effects is great, camera work, the performance is so The themes and story, the world and characters, the build up, everything about this movie delivered. I have very little negatives with this movie. I have no negatives. There are, of course, some characters I did want a little more screen time of, but I was very impressed. The performances was great. I was very happy with Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. I love the performances. I want to see more of this world. I'm very happy I saw this. I don't regret the fact that I watched this. I loved Dune Part 1, and for that reason alone, Dune is a visual sci-fi masterpiece that did everything that needs to be done. Denis Villeneuve, you did the impossible, and I congratulate you on that. So with that being said, I'm going to give this movie my highest recommendation, which is Spider-Verse Seal of Approval. Again, this is not going to be for everybody. If you are someone who likes your sci-fi movies with wall-to-wall action and stuff, or if you're a fan of Villeneuve, not a big Villeneuve guy with his last two movies, Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, I don't think this is going to be your cup of tea. But if you're willing to try and be fair, I think you'll be very, very entertaining. That was my review of Dune. Let me know in the comment section down below what did you think of Dune. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? I do have a soundtrack review for this coming. I do have my Children of Dune review coming. There will be a watch along for this soon. And I will have my ranking of the Dune adaptations coming up weekend. And all my social media links in the description box down below. If you'd like similar to my Cash App or Charm, you can email me and DM me that as well. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified when new videos are up. Live streams, otherwise you will not be able to get those. Be sure to like this video, comment down below in this video what is your favorite interpretation of Dune. Did this movie did justice for you with only the first half of the book? Be sure to share this video because it does help with the algorithm and it does help people watch this video and it does help this channel grow. With that being said, you guys keep it cool, enjoy the Epictastic.